per day up until Christmas. It's not something that I'm planning to do, as in like having a script here. It's really sharing my thoughts and really always asking the Holy Spirit to guide me through it, and whatever is gonna be out is gonna be out. Like I would say in French, ça sort comme ça sort. So it's gonna be out the way it's gonna be in my mind. It's in a really more beautiful way of saying it in English now that I'm thinking about it. But let's say that today I made it to Mass. I made it to confession. That's something that I said that I would do this week and trying to do for each week up until Christmas at least. Like I say, it's just a lot of things that I feel like I should do more. But something really funny happened today because I was at work and I was about to leave work to go to the church. And let's just say that it takes me, let's see, roughly 45 minutes, something like that, to get to the church that I went to today, which is not my usual church, but it's one that is very much popular and known in Montreal, in the Montreal area, right? So I went there, and before leaving the church, I already had made my mind into just going to confession this week and trying to kind of do that at least on a weekly basis, because I just feel the need of doing it in a way. And literally 3 minutes, I think it was 3 to 5 minutes before the bus was about to pass by, and for me to be able to get into that bus, to get to the metro, and then to get to the church after, I kid you not, that's when I received a team from one of my colleagues, literally talking about just a lot of things that we're planning to do for the Christmas and the holiday and all those stuff. Nothing necessarily urgent to respond to, but I was already online, so it was just something weird to me to kind of just turn everything off, knowing that you just said something. So it literally came down to me responding, answering, and just realizing that I actually was answering my own questions. And then after that, to go to the HR because we had other questions, and then the HR taking care of us and trying to explain to us like the way of just taking vacation and all those stuff throughout the system. But all of that literally took a lot more than anticipated, and I ended up taking a bus a little bit later than what I was supposed to do, right? And remind you that the confession it starts at 5 p.m. and it was already, I think, 3:30. Knowing that the bus and the metro would take me around roughly 45 minutes, I knew I still had a window and that I was not gonna make it too late to actually confess, but it was pretty tight. And the more I was staying, the more there was gonna be a discussion, because it just was taking a lot more time than anticipated for me to leave work, because we literally dove right into something that we didn't know about, and the HR was very excited about showing it to us and really made sure that we understood everything. It was pretty funny because it was literally the moment I was like, you know what? This is gonna be the day for me. I have to go to confession. And there's something very funny. You can think about it as just, I don't know, randomness of life, randomness of the day. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it. But I just found it very funny how much everything I feel like was kind of against me, even my own thoughts, to go to the confession. And it's not necessarily the first time. It's something that happened or happens to me quite a lot. And I think for a lot of people being Catholic and kind of taking the confession like very seriously, where you just feel like this is the moment for you to go back to God's grace and really having that relationship with Jesus and really having it solidified, because kind of being a lot more vulnerable in a way when you're talking to the priest, and you're not necessarily talking to the priest, you're talking to Jesus, right? And the priest is the mediator here for you to be able to talk to Jesus and just saying everything out loud, not only for the priest to hear it, but I feel like for you to even realize and really fully realize how grave everything you may share about. And it doesn't have to be like the worst thing ever, but just those little things, because I felt like the more I was doing it, or the more I'm doing it, the more I'm starting to realize more and more the little things throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month in my life that I start just, I'm just stopping doing, right? Those little things, and it doesn't have to be the biggest change overnight, but it's something where you just stop doing it a lot more and more, and then you start realizing way after, not necessarily the moment when you stop it, but just way after. And it's a lot of things on my list that I started just to go back and be like, okay, no, as a Christian person, as a Christian woman, I just shouldn't do that. And again, here, everything that I'm sharing is not based on me being perfect, because Lord does, I'm far from being perfect, but it's always about just trying, even if you fail at it. And again, that just came down, all of that for me to just make it to the church today made it even stronger for me to make that confession happen, right? Because the more you kind of start saying those little challenges throughout the thing that you know you really want to do, and you know it's gonna bring you even more of that grace from the Lord, and you start saying those little things, little challenges. It could be bigger than what I was about today, but all the little things that you start realizing, start observing, start saying, the more you just feel like you have to go and make it for confession, right? And the more I was looking at the time, and I was looking at the time passing by, and really not being sure if I was gonna be able to make it for church, the more I was like, this is definitely for me. And this is definitely me having to go to church today and having to make it for the confession. But again, I think there's a priest, I think it was either a pope or a priest, that literally had so many things planned throughout the day. And then I think he had his assistant or somebody that he knew that was working with for him, that was literally asking him to kind of cut every prayer session that he had, all those contemplation moment that he had where he was praying. It was just really being silent into meditating the words of the Lord, and really having that silent moment for him and for the Lord, and trying to just being told that he had to cut it in half because everything that he had to go through the day would take a lot more time. So it was, maybe it would have been better for him to kind of cut everything in half, especially those moments where he was kind of praying and really meditating and really having those moments with the Lord. And what he did was actually the opposite. It was like, you know what, let me increase the time that I had with the Lord today. If I had to do, let's say, 1 hour of meditation and prayer and all the stuff, I'm just gonna have it even for double the time that I actually had planned. So instead of 1 hour, it would be 2 hours with the Lord, right? So everything else would literally not be the priority, because this is when he would realize that the priority was to be with the Lord, and all other distractions was actually here to kind of put him away from that, right? So it was really interesting for me because it hit me right there. I was like, wow. Because I feel like throughout the day we have so many things and so many distractions and so many do's that we have on the list. And I'm a planner in my mind. Like, I'm planning everything, right? I could be planning my day and the week from now, right? I have all the things that I always have in my mind to be able to plan. Like, I can't do nothing without having to plan something at least in my head. So I'm just another planner when it comes to it. And for me to be able to kind of let it go, I just really not having that control over everything that I have on my to-do list is extremely challenging for me, because from the moment I have something in my list I have to do, I'm just getting obsessed by it. So everything that would have to take the priority, which is praying, which is taking those time with the Lord, at least throughout the day, in the morning or before I get to sleep, it always gonna be a moment where I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm too tired, because I give so much of my energy to anything else, anyone else. And then when I get back to myself and I get back at the end of the day or in the morning, I just don't have enough to give, or don't have enough of that time to give to the Lord, and all those moments, right? And this is where for me today was kind of that lesson where I was like, you know what, if it's that hard to make it work when I said that I would make it work, and again here outside is definitely the first day of the winter, like the winter with the big W, where there's a lot of snow, and we live in Canada, Montreal, so I can let you imagine me being back from Jamaica and seeing all of the things that I'm seeing out there right now. And it was not like that a couple of days ago. So there was a lot of things that just made me feel like, oh, I was so tired to make it happen for today, right? I was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. If I skip just one day or just if I skip 1 week, and I'm just gonna make it for the next time and the next session. But at the same time, I kind of said to myself that I was gonna be making it, right? And you're gonna have those moments where you really can make it, but today was definitely not a moment for it because I was good. I was not sick. There was not nothing necessarily grave or just serious enough for me to just go back home and not go and pass by the church. And the worst thing is that the church is not even that far away from my place. So I'm not doing a huge detour, right? To actually make it happen. So there was all those things was like, come on, come on. I think it's definitely your thoughts here and any influence from the outside that just makes you and try to kind of convince you that it's not that big of a deal for you to not make it, right? So I pushed myself and I was like, I'm gonna make it. Even if it's like a 3 minute confession, even if I get there 10 minutes the end of the confession, after this I'm gonna do my best, I'm gonna make it happen. And that's something that I was just doing and I was like, let's just go for it. And I think a lot of people, again, here being Catholic and going to confession is something that nobody is too excited to do usually because you feel like you're talking to somebody about like your deepest shameful acts, actions, feeling, thoughts. And it doesn't have to be the thing where you just say everything in one episode or one session. Sometimes it just takes those moments of just reflection and deeper reflections to start really getting out the things that maybe are more serious, but it's gonna take you time. It's not gonna take you to go through one session with the priest and being able to say it out loud and say everything out loud. It doesn't work like that, at least for me, right? So I'm already aware of that. So I'm like, whatever I'm gonna say, if I forget something, that's fine, because the next time I'm gonna go there, it's gonna be on the list. If it's not there, it's gonna be on the list at some point. But you always have to ask to the Lord and ask Jesus and be like, what is it that here that kind of waits me that I feel like I need to share and that would be able to make it so much more closer to him, right? And it's always about building that relationship. So that was the day for me. That was that little thing that I wanted to share today. Again, here we talk about confidence, and I'm talking less and less about confidence on video, but that doesn't mean that I'm not thinking about it. I feel like I'm just getting to just the way in my mind to getting to see being confident on videos another way, and especially coming back to the Lord and having that voice, using that voice for the Lord to be glorified, for Jesus to be glorified. And I'm still finding my way here, right? But I think that at least for the month of December, like I did today, I'm gonna do my best to make it happen for every single day. If I don't, I don't, but I'm still gonna do my best to do it. So if you feel like you connected today to this video, to this episode, definitely say something down below, whatever kind of made you, just hit you a little bit more or a little bit deeper. And for sure, I'm gonna be here another day to my best. And like I say all the time, keep smiling because it's free and contagious in a good way. Bye.